Hello, I'm Tomáš Zdechovský and you're watching TVP World Talks, where every word matters. They say history does not really repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And it certainly seems true when it comes to Central and Eastern Europe. Back in 1968, the Soviet Union intervened in Czechoslovakia. This violent intervention has put an end to dreams of reform in that country, which at that point was a part of the so-called Soviet bloc. Now, the Soviet bloc is gone, the Soviet Union is gone, replaced by Russia, but Russia still has very similar ideas. It wants to intervene, it wants spheres of influence, and so, 2022, the war in Ukraine. What is interesting is the way countries which have suffered under communist regimes and the Soviet dominance are approaching this war, because this is where paths actually diverge. We're going to talk about this and more with our guest today, Tomáš Zdechovský, Czech MEP representing the European People's Party. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your kind invitation.
So when we look back at the communist past of countries like Hungary, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, all of these countries know what communism was about, what Soviet dominance was about. Russia still wants to exert this sort of influence and dominance over its neighbors today. But two of the countries I've mentioned are staunch supporters of Ukraine, whereas two of them not really. Why do you think that has actually happened? Why did it come to this?
It's about the feeling, the people, and about Russian disinformation. The Czech Republic really act against the Russian influence in our territory, and we are very strict. Our intelligences are doing amazing work, and the same in Poland. We are cooperating together, and we don't want to repeat it. The scenario what we know from many countries, it's not only Ukraine, it's Moldavia, it's Georgia, it's another countries. And we were from the beginning the very close supporter, what you mentioned in your previous statement. The Czech Republic was first who sent it first tanks T-72 to Ukraine after Russian invasion, and we are very proud about that. And we are a very proud nation. In this situation, we increase a lot of money for our security. We will buy, as Poland, F-35. We are buying helicopters. We are now really realizing many defense projects, and we are now prepared systematically work on defense of Central Europe. And Hungary. Problem of Hungary is that there was huge Russian investment, and the same was in Slovakia. And I think that if you really follow Mr. Orbán, Viktor Orbán, Prime Minister of Hungary, he's following every time his profit and profit of Hungary. And the profit was linked with Russia and with China. This is why he is now in the side who he call it the peacemaker, but he's on the side of Russia, or something between Russia and Ukraine. Also, he has not openly supported Ukraine position. He doesn't block the all really steps what European Union is doing against Russia. But he's not openly supporting in the society the position of Ukraine and Vladimir Zelensky. And this is the big change. And Slovakia is something between Czech Republic and Hungary. They have it the same experience like Czech Republic with occupation 1968. But the another problem is that Russia infiltrate a lot the Slovak society with disinformation. And if you check the media in Slovakia, you can find there a lot of pro-Russian medias.
So what you're saying is that the lessons of history are there, sometimes they have not been learned, or sometimes the lessons are being blotted out by Russian disinformation in this case. Now, can you tell us more about the Czech ammunition initiative? This has been one of the highlights in which Ukraine's allies have been helping Ukraine. It was innovative, still is in a way, and it is proceeding apace, apparently. We said a bit about this in our introduction, but can you tell us more?
Yeah, the Czech Republic knows that we have a lot of partners from post-Soviet country and post-socialist country around the world, from the Africa, from the Asia, who has it ammunitions. And we started to talk with our partners around the world if they will be prepared to really sell the ammunition through the Czech Republic to the Ukraine. Many of them said at the beginning no, because they had it very close connection with Russian, and Russian diplomats were very active in this sphere to say that they wanted to block it. But I think it's a huge success of our diplomacy and huge success of Czech politicians. What continuously really speak and work with the partners around the world to find the solution. And the results of the solution is ammunition, really huge amount of ammunition for Ukraine, and Ukraine can in this moment defend their territory. I cannot go to the details and mention here many countries what were really linked with us and what were supporting us with ammunitions. But I think after the war, we will publish more information, and it's really great teamwork around the world. And thanks to Poland and other partners who are helping us a lot with this ammunition initiative and with other things what are necessary to bring the ammunition from the world to the Ukraine, because Poland has a crucial role, especially in transportation ammunition to the Ukraine partners.
So it is only after the war that we'll be able to talk about this hall of fame of countries that actually joined in with this initiative. Now, one final question. President Petr Pavel recently remarked that when it comes to NATO accession for Ukraine, we should not be afraid of the fact that some territories might remain beyond Ukrainian control, territories which form part of Ukraine under international law. And he gave an example of the way Germany functioned during the period of the Cold War. So why do other countries, especially in the West, are not able to act as boldly? And they still say, well, Ukraine's membership of NATO is some sort of distant prospect. We don't know when, we don't know how.
Because they have it much more bigger fear from Russia, especially if you remember in 2022, how was the position of Germany and France, how they really helped, realistically helped to Ukraine. They sent it only helm and bulletproof vest and nothing other to the Ukraine army to really fight against the Russian invasion. And I think that we have it another historical experience, what you mentioned before, and especially Czech Republic knows how is it important send it political and diplomatic signal to our partners. And I hope so that Ukraine will be one day part of NATO and one day part of European Union, because it's not important for Ukraine only. It's important for all Central Europe. What Ukraine is now doing in the war against the Russian aggression, they are not doing it only for themselves, for their sovereignty, but we understand the context as the Central European country, and they are doing a lot of things, especially for us in the Central Europe, because they help us with the security and especially exchange of the information is very important for the Czechs and for the Polish and other security.
So it is a matter of regional security, which should be considered priority. And it is by the countries of the region. Countries beyond the region, some say, well, perhaps less so. Perhaps it is fear of Russia, perhaps it is convenience. But we're getting there. We're getting our message through. Tomáš Zdechovský was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you very much and have a great day.
And I'm Tomáš Zdechovský. You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news and updates.